Hi, we're at the WPP Stream event in Ojai, California, lovely rustic Ojai, and we're joined today by Amy Emmerich, the Chief Content Officer at Refinery 29. So Amy, earlier this week you had a very exciting announcement, a partnership with CBS News. Tell us about that and how it came about.
Sure. Our head of communications, Susie Berkowitz, she's a smart little woman. She's always on the lookout for really great partnerships that benefit the audience and can expand the brand. CBS this morning, I mean, Charlie Rose, Gail, and Nora are like legends, right? They're one of the best news organizations. So to be able to have a dialogue with them about the millennial generation, I think we couldn't pass that up.
And so tell us the specifics of this. This was a three-part series?
Three-part series that they titled My Generation, a look at what millennials are about. I think there's a misconception about millennials. They sometimes get a bad rap.
What is it about millennials that people that makes them a sort of alien species?
I think because when you look at what is being called the millennial divide, the high end of the age group and the low end of the age group, some pretty major things have happened during that time period. Social media was created, so you have the first generation to ever kind of be born into social media,
right.
Financial crisis, and 9/11. So I think it kind of is just so vastly different than any generation before. They can't contemplate the nuance that's wrapped around them, and I think in media it's easy to just hold on to one specific thing, like, oh, they're lazy, they're
right.
entitled.
Yes.
Without understanding why those things might be getting tied to them.
Right, and there is this generational divide. You saw, I think, with the election of President Trump, you have this world. They grew up in a global world where they accept that is the way, and then you have a generation like Donald Trump, which is saying, "Hey, I liked it the way it used to be when we didn't have to compete in a global world." And so, how do you see that sort of coming to play?
I think that's also a bit about the social media aspect. Utilizing social media, you could see the world differently. Many other people that look like you. This generation wants to rewrite the societal norms. The past one's like, why can't we just be happy with how we are? But isn't that always the fight with every single generation?
Yes, of course.
I walked 6 miles in the snow to get to school.
Right, it was so hard.
Right, it's so hard. And I think this one, though, has the power and the technology on their side in order to change the generation. I can't help but listen to Dolly Parton. I'm really sorry.
But Dolly Parton is great because she spans all generations,
she fits.
right?
She
Everybody, millennials love Dolly Parton.
Universe. Well, I think Dolly's always been a woman who's owned like her own individuality and spoken up.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I think the universe sent us that theme.
So
it's playing in the background.
on the CBS News front,
yes.
Will you be doing more with them?
We hope so. We'd like to. I mean, I think we were both surprised by how many people really reached out when they saw this partnership. So we got great reviews. The audience loved it. I think the fact that CBS even went the extra mile, did their own research, their own study, they looked at all the data and insights that we had. Everyone's been really happy with it. So Gail and Charlie or Nora, they all said, come on back. So we're looking into it for next year, especially around the elections.
Great. And then this speaks to a larger trend that you guys and a lot of digital media companies are doing is sort of partnering with traditional legacy media or trying to get into linear TV. Talk to us a little bit about like that divide or why that strategy seems to be so popular right now.
I don't know about right now, but 3 years ago I got to Refinery to launch the video business. The plan was always, how do we create content that's going to change the perception, reprogram society that's been run by a patriarchy, whether that's the bus stop to the movie theater. So the goal was always that we're going to also get to television. As someone who used to work in media and TV broadcasts, I knew that there was things there that we wanted to evolve. We were recently looking at how Oxygen is rebranded as a crime channel, but when that launched in '99, Jerry Laybourne set out for a feminist network.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think she was just ahead of the time. Luckily today, I think this generation demands that we evolve, so I think there's more opportunity for content that Refinery is creating to be broadcast everywhere.
But we hear so much about, the skinny bundle and millennials don't watch TV, so
what is TV? Let's just have that conversation.
Right. Well, that's a good question.
What is this term we all say that is television? I mean, I think, are they subscribing to cable? No. We all know they're cord cutters. But I think they're consuming content more.
Right, but you're looking to partner
before.
with traditional cable networks, right?
But I think even traditional cable networks, right, are opening up SVOD, OTT, VOD, that they too are also everywhere. So, but I think it's still a very valuable business. Television. I personally hope it never goes away. Maybe that's because my nostalgia of working in it.
Right.
I have a lot of friends that still work in it, and I think it has value on how you can program society at scale And if we can have and make a dent in the change in way society sees, how do you change the minds of how we think about motherhood, career, relationships, plus size women, women of color? I don't think that's necessarily a focus right now for many television networks. I think we're all talking about it, but for us, it's unapologetically all we think about. So if we can actually have a dent in even TV, massive broadcast, why would we shy away from it?
Well, also they write checks, right?
And there's still money to be made, yes.
And so talk to us about that.
You can still do good and make money. I mean, I think that's another issue that people think that we can walk the walk, but is there a business model there? Of course there is.
Yeah, so how is that manifesting itself for Refinery?
Well, I think we're always on the lookout on how to diversify revenue, especially with the changing landscape. And I think this is just another part of that plan. And
so will Refinery have any programming on linear, or do you now?
We did do a deal. We have something with TNT, who run the world, which we're working on with Morgan Spurlock and Sarah Jessica Parker. So that was a 6-part series that went straight to series. The Shatterbox anthology, which was a short film series.
Right?
Yes, we did that a year ago, and have seen such huge success. I could have never imagined. 12 short films, all directed by women, trying to change the percentage of women behind the lens. And luckily, TNT came on board for that. So a few of those films will be airing on linear next year. Expect a really big announcement soon on who all those directors are. And those are first. And we've got about probably a dozen projects in negotiation or in long-form premium development, whether that's platform or network, that hopefully will be out first half next year.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about women. Refinery and women are sort of synonymous, right?
Yeah.
We've had the last couple of months this inflection point where you hear a new sexual misconduct, assault story coming to the fore. It's really, captivated media and the office space, and it's just, we've never seen anything like this. Has that changed the way Refinery is covering news, or or how you're covering lifestyle or anything?
Refinery 29 always created safe spaces for women. They were always on the side of zero tolerance policy and supporting the victims of sexual assault, sexual violence. So as far as the tone or stance on it, that has not changed. I think what's changed is the amount of stories that are coming out and how do you cover that well enough. So we have had to reallocate some heads and resourcing around how to cover this much trending, how to create service content to help people try to understand this, how to deal with this, how to get through if you've been affected by sexual assault, as well as features. Really journalistic reported stories on what's happening right now in a long-term game. This isn't something that's entertainment focused, right? This is every single category, especially that we cover and that probably touches women. The generation before didn't have an understanding of what was right and wrong. So we're going to hear about this, tech, fashion, and then we've been covering it. I think something that used to be wellness, tracked it from a sexual assault standpoint. Now, how are we covering this through every category that we have? So you definitely had to shift and make sure that we have enough people to feel like we are providing enough information to the audience. It's tricky.
Yeah, it is tricky, and it's hard because the story changes all the time.
I mean, it changes. I think more information, but more women are going to step up, stand out. So hopefully the societal acceptance will change. If zero tolerance is the only way to move forward.
Well, keep fighting the good fight, Amy. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, and enjoy Stream and the hay bills and all that.